let's get this bitch started. Hey guys, so for today's video, we're gonna be doing a continuation off of my last video. If you haven't seen that one, pause this video and go watch that one and then come back and watch this one. In my last one, I talked about the best beginner makeup products. Not so much like in detail, like these are the best products at the drugstore, but just specifically for beginners when it comes to starting your makeup collection. And I told you guys at the end of that video that I would be doing this one today, which is specifically just about tools. And it's the same deal. It's not a ton of brushes. I have a lot of drugstore videos. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and link them all below if you guys are interested, but I have like a dedicated video talking about the vegan brushes from BH that you guys know I love and use in every single day of my life. I love those goddamn brushes. I have lots of videos talking about the best eyeshadow brushes under like 10 bucks, the best face brushes, the best makeup in general, but this is specifically for beginners. People who are just beginning their collection, beginning their brush collection, and they don't know where to start. So this is all just at the drugstore. Things you can get at Ulta, Walgreens, Target, CVS, places like that. None of the stuff you have to order online except for one thing, but I'll get into it and you can hear me out, but I have other options for it, okay? So I don't have a lot of things. I just have like just the bare necessities. A lot of these brushes are also multi-purpose, so you can use them for different things if you're just starting out and you don't know what to do. I gotcha. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. We're gonna start with face first, and I have two sponges I wanna talk about. I'm not gonna recommend a foundation brush because number one, I don't use foundation brushes, and I just don't like them. So I'm not gonna recommend something that I don't use, but also I wanna recommend sponges because if you're a beginner and you're just learning how to do foundation, I feel like for me, a sponge is the easiest way to go. I used to use a foundation brush before like the Beauty Blender came out because the first sponge I ever used was the Beauty Blender because it like dominated the makeup game. And of course I had to get in on that action. And when I started using the Beauty Blender, I never looked back. I never went back to another foundation brush. I've like tried one or two and I was like, I ain't got time for this shit. I don't like foundation brushes, so I'm not gonna recommend one, but I also think that when it comes to sponges, they're a little bit easier to use for a beginner because they soak up excess product. It's kind of like the whole theme, like you're a beginner, you might not know how much foundation to put on your face. If the coverage is too heavy, a sponge, doesn't have to be Beauty Blender, but a sponge will help you soak up the excess. You can use it for foundation, you can use it for concealer, you can use it for powder. It's like 3 brushes in one. Instead of having a foundation brush, a concealer brush, and a powder brush, you can use this for 3 different things. So keep that in mind as well. But my 2 favorites are these 2 right here. This one is from Real Techniques. This is the one that I actually keep in my freelance kit, and I love these. You can get these for like $5 or $6 a piece, but you can buy a 2-pack for like 10 bucks. They have a 4-pack for 20 bucks. Ulta always has them buy one, get one half off. Sometimes they're buy one, get one 40% off. I like the shape of it. This is the side I always use for foundation, this flat side, and then if you flip it over you can use this side for concealer. So I love this. They're very long lasting. They last forever before they start to tear and go bad. I also love this one from L'Oreal. This is the L'Oreal sponge that I've been using. I think I started using this when I first started my YouTube channel, and that was like 2 years ago. I remember I tried this out in a video, if I'm not mistaken, and I've been using this ever since. I instantly fell in love with it. I feel like the texture of this is a little closest to the Beauty Blender. The only thing I don't like is I wish this tip was a little bit skinnier. I can't believe I just said that. I wish this side was just a little bit thinner, kind of like the Beauty Blender, to get up in the corner of the eye, but it gets the job done. Do not let that fool you. It's just like a little minute complaint of me just like nitpicking, but the texture of this is spectacular. It lasts forever. The durability is great, and it's like a really amazing foundation sponge. They're pretty much around the same price. This might be around like $6 or $7, but they're both like amazing. Such good quality. Like just my top 2 picks when it comes to drugstore sponges. I think these 2 are by far the best out there, and I've tried quite a few. Those 2 are my favorites. I want to talk about powder brushes, and I have 2. This one is one of my favorites from Sonia Kashuk. They did revamp their packaging. I think it's like a nice gold packaging now. I believe this brush is around $12, somewhere around there, but it's just a really nice, soft, but dense powder brush. This is like by far one of my favorite powder brushes, and it's great. You can get it at Target. Again, they revamped their packaging, so the packaging looks a little bit different. This is an old one. I've had this for a little while now, but it's just really nice for packing on powder. This is my go-to powder brush. I keep one of these in my kit as well, and I just really like it to get in around this area. It's super soft, really good quality, and I really like this brush a lot. And then this one is also great. This one is from e.l.f. This is the Ultimate Blending Brush. It's kind of like the same situation. It's a little bit smaller than the e.l.f. brush, but it kind of has those dense bristles where you can kind of just get in there and kind of pack on powder. I could probably see if somebody wants to blend foundation out with this, if you don't want to use a sponge, because it has a little bit of that density and it's a little bit smaller. I could see somebody being able to use this to blend out foundation. So just another way you can use this brush, but this one is from e.l.f. so it's affordable. I think this brush is like $6. If you want to go in and just kind of like really focus powder in certain areas, this one is great too, and it's affordable. I like this line from e.l.f., the matte black. I think they have a lot of really great brushes. I actually have a few more that I'm going to show you. This is the e.l.f. blush brush. Now, I don't see how you could use this for blush, because I guess to me the shape is just a little bit off for blush. I mean, I guess you could if you like the shape. For me personally, I just don't like the shape for blush, but this brush is great for setting. I love this brush to set. I set my concealer with this brush. I'll dust powder away from down here with this brush. You can use it to set around your nose if you want. If you want something a little bit more fluffy and you don't want something quite as dense as this, because this is a little bit more fluffy, this is great to get up in here. If you just want to do like a lighter set of powder, this is great, but again, I use this to set my concealer, and I love this brush. You can set around here if you want. It's just like super nice and fluffy, very affordable, and I really love this brush a lot. I've had this for many, many, many years. Like I've had this for at least 3 years for sure, and it's still going strong, and it's literally like a $4 brush. Now this one from e.l.f., this is the small tapered brush. This I would say I actually probably use more so to like pack powder underneath my eyes if I'm setting my concealer, and then maybe I'll use this more to kind of like press it in or dust it away. But this brush is great for so many different things because of the shape. It's around the same price, like $4 or $5, but if you can see, it's kind of just like this little rounded shape. I have a massive forehead, so this probably wouldn't work for me for bronzer, but if you don't really need to go in and do like a lot of heavy contouring or something, and you just want to do a little bit of bronzer just around here, you can make this work for that. You could use this for contour down here if you want to chisel out your cheekbones. You can use this for blush if you want. This is more of a shape that I would use for blush versus the other one. Even though this one is called a blush brush, I would use something like this more for blush. You could do that. You can use this to set your concealer. You could use this to set your nose, just your face in general. Like this is just such a great shape brush that I feel like you can do so many things with it. You don't have to go out and buy a bronzer brush, a blush brush, a contour brush, a setting brush. You could literally use this one brush for pretty much your entire face. I'm gonna go ahead and mention these two together because they actually are sold in a set, and these are from EcoTools. EcoTools brushes are so highly, highly underrated. I never ever hear people talking about them. If I do, it's very, very seldom. I use EcoTools on a regular basis. I use them on my clients. I recommend them to people. I think they are incredible, amazing, great, phenomenal drugstore quality. I've been using EcoTools since I was in high school, and I still use them to this day. Both of these brushes together are like $10, I want to say, maybe 11 at the most. When I first started highlighting, I used to use, I'm pretty sure I used to use this brush, or I used to use one from Sedona Lace. I can't remember, but it was a big fluffy brush like this, and obviously you can use this for highlight. This is not really my type anymore, like the thinner, more precise highlighting brushes, but this works just fine for highlighting if you're just beginning. It's perfect to get right up there. You can also use this to contour if you want. You can use this to bronze around your forehead. The nice thing is that it comes with this one, and this is perfect for blush. This one is one that I keep in my kit, and I love it for blush. It applies product like a freaking dream. It's never too heavy. I'm real picky with my blush brushes because I don't like when they're kind of too stiff and they pick up too much product, or they pick up too little product. I think this picks up the perfect amount of product, and it's soft enough that it disperses blush perfectly. So I love, 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 love this brush. You could also use this for bronzer. You could use this for contour as well, blush, powder. Like there are just so many things you can do with this brush, and this is like a dream team for like $5 a piece. Like, you literally can't beat it. So I also have this one from EcoTools. This is like a duo fiber brush. This is also one that I keep in my kit, and I love duo fiber brushes for bronzer. Duo fiber brushes are like another thing that I don't really hear people talking about. I feel like I see a lot of people using them to kind of blend out their face and mesh everything together, but I love to use this brush on my clients for bronzer. It adds the perfect amount of color. It always just looks seamless, like it's just blending into the skin. It's never heavy again, and it's just like the little fibers at the tip, like it just picks up product right up here. Whenever I'm using this on a client, I always use it for bronzer, and then I use it for blush as well, just because it's kind of like the same shape. I'll compare these two with each other so you can see they're kind of like the same shape. This just has those little duo fibers at the top, so I'll use this for bronzer. I'll kind of like wipe it off on the back of my hand, and then I'll go in and use it for blush as well. This has got to be one of my favorite brushes in my kit. Actually, I should probably pick up more of these. I don't have a lot of duo fiber brushes in my kit, but I think I'm gonna pick up more. I don't know why I'm just thinking about this right now, but I love this brush. It's amazing. This is the full powder brush. This is actually my bronzer brush. So again, you can do different things with this. You can use this for powder if you want. For me, I like a big fluffy brush like this for bronzer, where I can just take it and bronze my whole face really quickly. I take this down the neck and I'll bronze my chest with it. You can also use this for powder. This is perfect if you don't wanna use a brush like this or a brush like the Sonia Kashuk one where it's a little dense. This one is super fluffy. So if you're somebody who doesn't wear a lot of powder, or you have dry skin and you don't need to pack powder, you can just kind of take it and like do a light little layer of powder, and it doesn't like press it into the skin and make your skin look really cakey. And now we're gonna move on to eyes. And I literally am looking at my brushes, and I have like just a handful of brushes because these are things where you can use them for different types of steps if you're just learning how to do eye makeup. And the first one is this one. This is like such a throwback because this was my first blending brush ever. Again, they revamped the packaging, so it's a little bit nicer now, but I have the old one because I've had this brush for so long. I've probably had this brush for like 10 years. This is my little EcoTools crease brush, and this was the first brush that I ever learned how to do eyeshadow with. I think now they turn this into a double-ended brush, and it's in a set with another double-ended brush, so essentially you get 4 brushes. I want to say it's like less than $10. I'll make sure to insert a picture so you guys can see it, but nonetheless, this was my first blending brush, and it got the job done for many, many years until I ordered my first Sigma brush, which is like so crazy to see how far that I've come when it comes to doing makeup. This used to be my E40 before I switched over to the E40, and this brush is really good. It's not bad, okay? It's not as soft as the E40, but I used it for a very long time, and I like this brush, okay? So really great blending brush. It's affordable. Again, they revamped the line since, you know, I've had all this stuff, but it's the same thing, probably actually a little bit better quality since they revamped it. It takes me back. It takes me back. So yeah, I'll insert the picture of the set that this comes in now, but it's like super affordable. I looked it up online before I started filming. I want to say it was literally like $8 for this brush along with 3 others. So that was my blending brush. It was, oh my god, you guys, that brush is like what led me to love doing makeup. This is what started it all. It's like crazy. Like, I can't get over it. I can't believe it. This is from It Cosmetics. This is the, I think it's called the 107 brush. It's old. I've had this for a while, so it's scratched off. But I know you guys are probably thinking, It Cosmetics, their brushes are so expensive. Why are you even talking about them? We ain't got money here, okay? That's why we're here watching this channel, because we're not trying to spend a lot of money, bitch. This brush is like $11, I think, so pretty affordable. Not as cheap as EcoTools, where you could get a whole set for the price of this one, but I want to mention this because I think it's a really, really good brush. You can use this not only for the transition, but you could also kind of just wipe it off in between shadows and use this to go in with a deeper transition if you want. You could take this and just pack a shimmer on your lid. You can use it for the lower lash line. You could use this to contour your nose. Like, you could use this for so many different things, whereas this one is a little bit more of a like rounded, fluffier shape. I wanted to go ahead and mention this because they do have a little bit of a different shape, and this is still, I think, pretty affordable for a beginner price, and I really like this brush. So this next brush is the brush that I mentioned earlier that you either might have to order online or might be a little harder for you to get because it's a Morphe brush, and this is the Morphe R30. I know I talk a lot of smack about their blending brushes, but this is from the rose gold line. I know I told you guys I was testing it out and I didn't really know how I felt about it yet. Like I think I said it was just okay, but I've really put it to the test and it hasn't lost its shape like the other ones that I've tried in the past, and it still looks really good. It does a really good job and I enjoy this one a lot. I've tried all of their blending brushes that every YouTuber has ever recommended and I've never liked any of them, but I love this one. It's like $6 to $8 or something like that, but I wanted to go ahead and mention it because Ulta sells Morphe, but I don't believe they sell this line in stores. I think the rose gold line is a little more better quality than their other like regular brushes, so I wanted to mention it. I know Morphe's opened up a lot of stores throughout the US and I believe they're still opening stores. They actually opened one in Houston like a few months ago, so that's why I wanted to go ahead and mention it. It's a really good blending brush, I'm not gonna lie. I used it today and I like it a lot, so I wanted to just go ahead and throw it in here just in case you're able to pick it up. I wanted to mention that one, and this one is small enough where I feel like you could take this and kind of run it on the lower lash line as well, so I wanted to throw that one in there. This one from Real Techniques. This is a little tiny like shader brush. This one I believe also comes in a kit as well, which I will insert a picture of. I believe you get 2 brushes for like $8 or $9 or something. At one point I did have the other brush and I don't know what happened to it, but this is a really nice brush. It's perfect for the lid, just packing something on the lid. This is nice also to do an outer V color if you start playing with that. It's nice for the lower lash line. You can do this for the brow bone. It's small enough that you could get underneath there. You could actually even take this in the inner corner if you wanted to. It's a little bit fluffy too, so you could actually probably take this and do a little bit of crease definition if you want. I've had this brush for years. Like when Real Techniques first kind of hit Ulta was when I got this, and I still love it and I still use it. It's really great. Okay, my next one is this one from Sonia Kashuk. This is the angled liner brush. Again, Sonia Kashuk revamped their line so the packaging is different, but you could never go wrong with an angled liner brush. This is a really good one. It's never lost its shape. It's great if you want to do a little bit of definition on the lower lash line, the top lash line, of course wing liner if you're learning how to do a wing. This is also great for the brows. You can take this and fill out your brows if you're filling in your brows with a pomade or a shadow. I want to recommend this one specifically because it does a really nice wing if you're learning how to do a wing. I've tried a lot of angled brushes and they lose their shape so quickly, or they kind of start to fray and you can't get that nice wing shape, but this one has never done that. My last couple brushes are Morphe brushes, but these are brushes that I have picked up in Ulta that I know you can go to the store and buy them. So this first one is the M167. I use this one all the time. I love this for applying a lid color. I actually use this today to apply my lid color. It's just a really great affordable packing brush. It's like $6, somewhere around there. I have a ton of these because I use them in my freelance kit, but yeah, just a really nice like bigger packing brush, so you can go in and kind of carve out the lid. You can take it and just swipe a color across the lid. You can use this for underneath the arch of the brow if you want. You can use this to do maybe a little bit of spot concealing if you want. Also, I want to mention you don't have to use a packing brush to apply shadow onto your lid. You could just take your pinky if you want and kind of swipe it. I still do that to this day. I do it on myself and my clients. I feel like there's like a thing with people thinking you can't use your fingers when you're doing eyeshadow. Like, I don't know, not that I feel like it's like an uproar, but I like see that a lot on other people's YouTubers. If I'm kind of like in the comments or if I'm leaving a comment on somebody else's page, if they do their makeup with their fingers, I don't know why it's like people think there's an issue with using your fingers. I do makeup on other people and I use my fingers all the time. I actually use my hands to apply primer. I use my hands to like tap out product. There's nothing wrong with using your hands. I just want to mention that. So don't feel like you have to especially buy this brush just specifically for the lid. I did that a lot in the beginning. I think I mentioned in my last video was I just would take a shimmery shadow and just kind of tap it on my lid. Sometimes the warmth from your finger actually melts the product a little bit better into your lid. So that's also something you can keep in mind. But I did want to mention a lid brush. I think that's a really, really great one and I like it a lot. This one is the Morphe M431. It's a pencil brush and I feel like everybody needs a pencil brush, especially in the beginning. This is a great detailed brush that just does so many different things. You can use this for the lower lash line. line. You can do it for the inner corner, the brow bone highlight. You can take this in Pat color on the outer V. You can smoke out your top lash line. You could use this to contour your nose. You can do so many things with this that you can cut out a lot of those tiny detailed brushes that you see people do in makeup tutorials where they have a different brush for the outer V, a different brush for smoking out the lash line, a different brush for the lower lash line, the inner corner of the brow bone. You don't have to have all those brushes. This brush will do all that stuff for you. It's just a nice pencil brush. I mean, it's a pencil brush, like you really can't go wrong, but it's really affordable, and I've used this for a lot of different things, and it's done a pretty good job. My last one is the Morphe M432. This is a flat brush. And again, multi-purpose. You can do so many things with this. I use this for my lower lash line. I use this for gel liner. I use this to put shadow on my top lash line to hide my lash band. I use this to carve out my brows. You can actually also use this to fill in your brows as well. You can use this if you kind of want to clean up underneath your lipstick, if you want to do a little bit of spot concealing, if you want to carve out the top of your brow. Like, you can use this brush for so many things. You can use this to even just take like the tiniest bit of highlight right down the center of your nose, the very tip of your nose. Like, it's crazy how many things you could use this flat definer brush, and this is my favorite one. You guys know I'm like diehard Sigma when it comes to like my blending brushes, and I know Sigma has a flat brush as well, but this brush is $6. You can't beat the price. It's a flat brush. I have so many of these because I use them for so many different things, and I love this brush. Again, I think especially when it comes to a beginner, you can do so many different things with this brush that I feel like it's just a good staple to have. And those are actually all the eyeshadow brushes. I probably talked about less brushes for the face and the eyes than I actually use in my tutorials, which is crazy. But yeah, I feel like when it comes to a beginner and you're just learning, you don't need 75 million brushes to start with. Buy the basics and then build your collection from there when you get more comfortable. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me any comments or suggestions below of anything you want to see, any brush you want to mention for maybe other people to kind of look into trying out, especially if they're here like as a beginner watching this video. I feel like there's something else I wanted to tell you guys, but I just can't remember at this point in time. Like, I just don't remember. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe before you go and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos, and I will see you in my next one. Bye! I don't give a fuck what anybody says about my fucking cardigan because I look cute as shit, okay? Excuse me. I just ate a whole fucking bag of Doritos. Okay, they were the spicy salsa Doritos, and my mouth is on fire. I feel like I'm about to have heartburn or heart attack or something. Salsa verde. Okay, it wasn't a whole bag, it was like half a bag, but it was like 1,000 chips. You know how when you just eat so many chips and the roof of your mouth is like scraped to shreds, and now like my mouth is on fire, like why do I have this dramatic makeup on to just literally take it off in 30 minutes? Okay. Oh my god, you've gotta be fucking kidding me. Okay. Okay, those fucking chips, like, need to just stop it right now. Stop it right now. God damn it, you motherfucking mailman. Right now? You gotta come up the street now? When I start filming?